I think that almost every Doctor Who fan can relate when I say I've been planning what I would do for this series if it conveniently fell in my hands, like tomorrow. I thought of my Doctor, some about my companion, even some of the storylines, the TARDIS, interior, everything. One thing I could never really think of is the format. In an ideal world, I would have 15-hour-long episodes with a Christmas special at the end. And could this realistically happen? And the answer to that is yes, but the episodes would have to take a significant downgrade. Remember, this is on a BBC budget, so the episodes at the moment look great, but if you increase the episode count but not have a bigger budget, then the episodes would have to take a significant downgrade in quality. I don't know the exact budget of the series and how it was in the Stephen Moffat era, but the episodes would definitely have to take a visual downgrade, meaning the stories would have to be less epic in scale as the budget probably wouldn't allow for it. But this got me thinking. In the Stephen Moffat era, they had a smaller budget in 12 episodes, but now in the Chris Chibnall era, they have a larger budget but only 10 episodes. And it got me thinking about the format. And it leads me on to something I want to talk about. I do not like the format of the Chibnall era at all. It's one of the main things I do not like about the Chibnall era. I don't know why, but 10's always seemed like a really weird number of episodes to have in a series to me. It also increased the runtime from 45 minutes to 50 minutes, which still makes no sense to me, because most of the episodes in the Moffat era were running to about 50 minutes anyway. If they're going to increase the length, I don't get why they didn't just increase it to an hour. So today I want to talk about some of the things I can think of about how the format can continue, about how the format can change. And ask the question, should Doctor Who change its format? I'm going to present each idea and then look at some of the positives and negatives of each different idea. So, option 1, taking a reduced episode count but having hour-long episodes. Now, I wouldn't say reduced as in like 5 or 6 episodes. I think a good number of episodes would be 8 episodes. So we're going to be looking at the possibility of having 8 hour-long episodes in the series. So here are some of the main positives to having fewer episodes, having 8 episodes in the series. Is that if you look at Series 12, you have about 6 episodes which will relate to this big long arc in the series. But then you also have other episodes, like the other 4 episodes, which just a bit and don't really relate to it, because there's about 6 really good episodes, and then there's 2 episodes which are generally considered bad and 2 which are just considered okay. So if you took the series as a whole and removed Orphan 55 and Praxeus, you just had 8 episodes in the series. Yes, there are less episodes, but on the whole you have a better series. Another advantage of having less episodes is you get less viewers drop off, because at the start of the Series 12 you got about, I think it was 7 million viewers for Spyfall. It was 4.96 million overnight, and something like 6.89 million consolidated. By the end of the series you got 3.7 million overnight and 4.69 consolidated. That was over the 10 episodes. The advantage of having fewer episodes is you are more likely to get less viewers dropping off. For example, by the end of episode 8, which was The Haunting of Villa Diodati, you got just over 5 million viewers, which means if you had just the 8 episodes, the drop-off would be from about 6.89 million to 5 million, as opposed to 6.89 million to 4.69 million by the end of the series. Now, I don't really like to talk too much about the viewing figures, but I will just touch on them briefly. I don't know how much difference this would actually make, because the percentage of the audience for that week stayed roughly consistent around about 20% for the entire series. So when people are claiming that Doctor Who's viewing figures are going down, yes, in terms of numbers they are, but in terms of people on the whole TV viewing figures are going down, but Doctor Who's still remaining consistent with about 20% of the people watching that week. So I don't actually know how much difference the reduced episode count and stopping the viewer drop-off would make. I'm guessing stopping a viewer drop-off would lead to a higher percentage of the audience in total. But obviously the main negative with this is that you get less Doctor Who. And obviously the second option would be having an increased episode count, and possibly hour-long episodes, possibly not. There are definitely some advantages of this and some disadvantages. Main advantage, you get more Doctor Who. More Doctor Who keeps Doctor Who fans happy. Well, I mean, that's practically impossible at the moment, but you get more Doctor Who, more stories, means Doctor Who's on for longer each year, means you don't have to wait as long. I mean, only you have to wait a few weeks less for the next series to come about. Obviously, all the disadvantages would be stuff I've sort of mentioned before. You would have a higher viewer drop-off rate, which would mean if you had about 6.89 million for episode 1 and say you had 15 episodes, by episode 15 you would only have about maybe just over 4 million, as opposed to about 4.6 million. Also, the budget, unless it got a bigger budget increase, wouldn't allow for many action-packed stories with a bigger episode count, because it means more of the budget would have to go into each individual episode, meaning there'd be less budget for every single episode. This would also lead to a dip in the visual effects quality and maybe the camera quality. I'm not sure about that. Also, the quality of the series may dip because with the current writing, although I don't hate Chibnall as much as some people do, I don't know if 15 consistently good written episodes could be produced. There'd be a lot more duds than there were in, say, Series 12 and even Series 11, you could argue. People have also suggested things such as going to 6 episodes. I don't like that idea, even though I wouldn't be opposed to going to a sort of 8 episode series. I think 6 just seems too short for an episode series of Doctor Who. And obviously a final option would be the series stays the same as it is, which I guess they probably will do. I wouldn't like them to do it because, as I said, 10 episodes is a very weird number, at least in my opinion, and 50 minutes seemed like an odd runtime. The reason that I like having a larger series is because I love two-parters. Two-parters are my favourite type of stories, and it makes sense to have a larger series. You can have more two-parters as opposed to having one at the start and one at the end like Series 12 did. I think one two-parter is definitely too little. Having no two-parters is a very bad thing. Having two two-parters is okay, but having sort of 3 or 4 dotted throughout the series is a good idea and could account for wider, more consistent stories. But those are just my opinions. What are yours down in the comment section below? Do you think Doctor Who's format needs to change? If it does, what would you change it to? I've been Cyberman Alf. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. My aim is to get to 200 subscribers sometime soon. But for me, for now, it's goodbye.